The following is a TPC Network podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Pepin, and today we have a classic but fantastic episode. It may not be virgin, but it's still worth exploring. This episode actually has been talked about quite a bit on a number of different podcasts. A lot of fans love it, and we have a lot of new listeners from the TPC Network, so we want to give everyone a chance to listen to it. Today, we present to you Virginity stories, or first time stories, or the time I fucked somebody that one time for the first time.
Hey, Pepin.
Yo.
You know, I was thinking about the end of the last episode and the fact that we teased we were going to talk about first times.
Yeah.
We should do that.
Okay, well, I guess we need to talk.
We're here, of course. So glad you could join us. Pepin, you're in a chair.
That I am.
We have the ever-glowing Matt Drew. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing all right. I'm on a bed. Thank you for letting the listeners know what I was sitting on.
I want them to paint a mental picture of...
Just imagine me on a bed.
Just imagine Matt Drew on a bed.
You can include a picture of me in the description.
We will include nothing in the description.
Just show me on a bed.
all-
I'll pose.
It's all gotta be in your mind. Now imagine Matt posing on a bed in this glorious image that's just perpetuating in your mind. This
Guys,
is
Steve
the
has a boner right now,
This
by the
is
way.
this is
It is poking through a little.
this is the perfect segue for our topic here
Zip
today.
up your fly if you're gonna have an erection, bro.
This is the perfect segue for our conversation here today. I think we need to talk about sometimes in life there are things, and these things happen.
Dude, you sound like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
And these things we refer to them as the second time. But before the second time, there's obviously a first time. And I think that's what we should talk about here today.
Okay, I'm down.
I'm up.
That's absolutely flawless. So, who wants to open us off talking about the time that they first went to the beach?
Wait.
Metaphorically.
Oh, so you're talking about sex?
Yes.
So, my first time was with a girl who had been with, first girl I'd been with, you know, dating wise, and we had been boyfriend girlfriend for like maybe 7 months or so. And at the time, I was kind of Christian, and she was kind of Christian. You know, air quotes there. It's kind of like,
What is kind of Christian?
it's like you say you're Christian, but you don't really believe anything.
Oh, so Christian.
Yeah. So we were Christian.
Well, no, there's other versions of Christian. There's like crazy Nazi Christians. Okay, Steve, don't act like the only type of Christian is the half, 1 foot in, 1 foot out,
The only type of Christian is the type that's like, I believe in Christianity, but my actions don't prove it.
No, he was like a normal teenager Christian, like I feel like normal teenagers aren't really 100% God-loving, like, oh, let me tattoo Jesus' name on my right nipple. Like, it's like normal teenagers were like that. They were like, I'm kind of Christian. My family's Christian. So was that more of what it was, where your family was Christian? And
Yeah, it was more like that.
That was at the time that you wouldn't swear.
Yeah.
To this day, when Pepin swears, it still throws me off guard.
So we were like Christian, air quotes, as we established. And it's kind of weird because like we didn't really understand the Bible, so she wanted to do anal for a little bit because, we didn't actually like lose our virginity. And anal is actually punishable by death in the Torah or in the Bible. So that's what kind of Christians we were. Let's do anal, and that was it.
That's what kind of Christians we were. Let's do anal. I love those kind of Christians.
Anyway, we had been doing a lot of fooling around. So, like, oral type stuff. Nothing, like, too extreme, but oral, kind of definitely hand jobs, finger banging. And she was more wanting to get to the sex level than I was. Because I was kind of like, I don't know, God might come down or something. And
God might come down the stairs. You can't. Hey! Where are your hands? Where I can see them?
I gotta be able to fit between you.
So we were finally planning on a time to do it. And, it was both kind of exciting, but the one thing I heard from almost everyone is the first time you go, you don't last at all. Like, it's maybe like 2 seconds, half a minute. And I was very worried.
Understandable,
And so I had to remedy a solution. So when I went to the store to buy condoms, I was looking around and, going through all the different brands and stuff. And then I see this one out there that says long lasting. I'm like, that's a great idea. Now, if you know the punchline here, shut up. Just let me get to it. So I get the long lasting one, right? And I'm like, this is going to be great. I'm going to last, as long as I need to. I'm not going to, like, embarrass myself, because my main thing was I don't want to completely embarrass myself with this, because this, that could be kind of bad.
Your first girlfriend, your first time. She's really excited and pushing for it. Of course, that seems like a normal expectation.
I mean, it's imagining, like, I could do, like, 2 pumps in and I'm done. And it's like,
Great workout.
Like, those condoms were called everlasting gobstoppers, huh?
So we start going at it, and it's pretty good, It's the normal kind of stuff, and I was actually surprising her that I had...
It's the normal kind of stuff. Like the normal kind of stuff. Thrusting and whatnot.
We start going at it. It's the normal kind of stuff.
Don't think anything weird, listeners. It was, hey, it was the normal kind of stuff, you
Wanted
sickos.
to do anal. It was the normal kind of stuff. Go on.
All right. Like kissing, some fondling.
We always come back to fondling. Every episode, it's like, we gotta mention fondling.
There was no tickling, though. No tickling. So I actually was going to surprise her with these condoms, because she didn't know I had them, and they were locked away in my little safe. Now...
Is that what you call your pocket?
Hold on, let me get my wallet out of my little safe.
So this is something Steve knows, but I don't think Matt does. So, Steve, do you remember how I used to lock my door?
Vaguely, yes.
Matt, do you want to know?
I feel like it's something involving your dick. Do you lock your door with your dick?
Oh, you mean what method you use?
Yeah,
I thought you meant, remember how in the past I did this thing? Not remember the method that I used to lock my door?
Remember, I used to lock my door.
With my peen.
I used a cinder block.
What?
A cinder block.
Wait.
Was that from when the bridge exploded down the street?
Well, I also used the piece of the bridge that exploded down the street as well.
There's so much backstory I feel like I should ask about, but I'm like, nope, let's just keep going.
I remember when that happened, and I lived down the road from you, right on down in the yellow house, and we played like cops and robbers in a broken down bridge that was like it was like completely not safe for young children to be playing there. And then you took a piece of it, and I was like, oh, Nate stole government property. That's a part of the road.
Like they're going to track him down.
They're on and down for that dotted line.
GPS is on all those pieces.
God's going to come down.
And I ended up using it for like a doorstop. Or
Okay.
a door block. So,
By all means.
whenever we're getting sexy, obviously we're like in my parents' room. Not my parents. My parents' house.
I'm bringing this piece of this old bridge into my parents' room, getting sexy.
Hey, Mom, Dad, I'm going into your room with the cinder block and safe.
Don't knock.
I'm bringing the cinder block in the safe. Oh, and my girlfriend.
Okay, my room, the parents' house. But, so, you just have to block the door because I didn't have an actual lock, and my parents didn't want me to have a lock and stuff, so that worked fine enough. So, block the door and everything, and...
Holy fuck, we've been talking about blocking the door for 5 minutes. Get to the pushing.
Okay.
Wait, at one point, weren't you guys doing the normal stuff? And now...
Oh, yeah. So
Wait, okay. So all of this is because your parents wouldn't let you have a lock. That
Right.
was okay. So that I just want to make sure that was the reason. I thought your door was broken or something. No, it's
No. I couldn't have a lock, so this is my workaround.
so they see their kid dragging around a cinder block everywhere. It's like we should really get him a lock. And they're like, but look at those forearms. Really?
So you don't block the door like the first thing you do. Like you wait till it's like to see the point of no return, right?
Hot and heavy, yeah. Go on.
Yeah. So block the door and.
I just imagine you walking a cinder block over to the door, where you think something's gonna happen. Like so presumptuous of you going to get your cinder block.
Even better things start happening. She's like, Nate, cinder block.
You guys sit on the couch and you're like, get in the cinder block. And she's like, whoa, we just sat down, buddy.
I'm not that one date cinder block type of girl.
It's like you go on a date with your cinder block, so you think something's gonna happen, you bringing that thing along, little bam bam.
Don't worry, I have protection. Brings
Guy
up
who
the
like
cinder block.
preemptively brings the condom to the date and just leaves it on the table. That she's gonna be right there. We don't have to do anything about it. We can.
Go on. So doors closed, hot and heavy.
Hot and heavy. And so I reveal that I have condoms, and she gets excited. And I'd practiced a few times before because that's what we're supposed to do with the condom. So I knew what I was doing.
Wait. How'd you practice?
So you get an erection, you put the condom on, and you say, "Oh, okay. There's no holes in there. There's no air bubbles."
Wait, so you use the same one?
You always gotta check your condoms for holes.
No, you use the same one.
I opened it up, I tried it on a couple times, it fit, so I bought it and took it home.
Go get a condom and you just grab a loose condom.
You go into the drugstore, you're like, do you guys have a fitting room? Or...
Wait, who checks these things for holes? Whose job is that? Is that your job?
Okay, so there's no holes.
Getting no holes. And so, I put it on and, start trying to get in there, right? And
Still trying to get in there.
no, this was a legit issue though, because she was nervous, right? So she's like fucking nervous. So she's like clenching all her muscles, and I'm trying to put it in there, and she's like, "Is that the right hole? Is that the right hole?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's the right hole." Well, why isn't it going in? You just relax a little bit. No. So it's about 5 minutes of just trying to get it in and not being able to get it in. And it was like one of the most frustrating things. It's like, is this how I'm not gonna lose my virginity? Just like I'm literally being like badge blocked.
Okay, so your first time you were worried was going to be your not first time.
Wait, I'm confused. Is this your first time, or did you end up getting it in?
I think his phrasing was, I was worried this was not going to be my first, this was going to be my not first time.
I worried that too. Have you heard the story, dude? That's like the one thing he's worrying is, has it even happened?
I'm still on the cinder block.
So wait, she was cool with the cinder block, right? She was like,
Dude, she would be like,
she was all about that cinder
sometimes
block.
we'd forget it, and she'd be like, Nate, shouldn't you block your door? I'm like, yeah, okay.
One time she brought her own.
She's like, Shh, it's okay, you forgot your cinder block. I got one.
Pulls it out of her safe.
She's like my little safe.
All right, so she's clenching. That's the callback.
So eventually, I managed to get it in, and I'm pumping in and stuff, and it's actually really good. This is like, oh my god, this is what it feels like. I know why people are so crazy about this. And about a minute later, I start kind of going soft. I'm like, what? And then keep going soft, and she's like, Nate, you don't really. Are you soft right now? I'm like, yeah, I don't know why. What's going on here? And so I pull out, and I've just gone flaccid. I'm like, what the fuck? And I can't quite figure it out. And then I'm thinking to myself, and as I'm thinking, I stroke my chin and my lip. And then my whole lip goes numb. I'm like, wait a second. I look on the box. The condoms, the long-lasting ones, they have a numbing agent. They made me completely numb down there. I could not feel anything.
On the inside?
Yeah, on
of
the
the
inside.
condom or on the outside? Because I can't imagine the outside working well
on the
either.
inside.
Wow.
So I was completely numb down there. My whole lip was numb for like 5 hours.
Long lasting.
Wait, were you talking funny? Were you like, no? She's
Let me move the cinder block.
This is not sexy. He's mumbling about a cinder block.
So it I couldn't like take a shower because that'd just be weird, and I didn't have any other condoms, so
Mom, Dad, I'm gonna take a shower real quick. Nothing's happening. Don't worry.
Honey, he's bringing his cinder block into the shower with him. Don't ask questions. He just likes to keep it close.
It's okay. The safe's still in this room. So, how did your girlfriend at the time take this?
she
Disappointment?
Well, at first she was really confused. She was like, "Am I not hot enough or something? Like, what's wrong?"
I always think that.
And then it was like, "Oh, it's numbing. Oh, geez, that's kind of terrible. Oh God, I would really want to get banged."
Was that the exact phrasing?
Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close.
Get banged.
She asked for anal. I mean, let's put it that way.
Fair enough.
Just another, like, I feel like we should also do this whenever we talk about our firsts. We should also talk about how it ended up. Did you end up seeing her again after that? How long did you guys go for after that?
So we were together for about 3 years. I mean, and we banged on maybe like year 0.5.
So did you ever stop doing anal?
Did you ever start doing anal?
No, we tried it the first time and
Clenching.
I was under the impression that it was all anal. I thought that it was like all anal all the time. It was like...
No, I wish. No, we tried anal one time before the vaginal sex. And, we didn't know what we were doing. She's like, "Oh, just stick it in. We got some lotion here." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
You thought that was what God wanted.
God's gonna be mad if I stick it in your puss.
No, he's not. No, he's into that.
Let's go to the butt.
No, he's cool with that. Trust me. I know.
So that was my first time, and there was maybe about 2 minutes, or 2 minutes of actually being in, and maybe like 7 minutes of trying to get it in.
And you were pushing rope at that point.
And also, to make it worse, come to find out, I have the opposite problem. I last way, way too long.
Yeah, it can be an issue.
It's like, if you're like, "Oh, it hurts, I'll just give you a hand job." It's like, I'm almost done. Just give me another 15.
Oh, it hurts. Fucking Nate.
It hurts, I'll give you a hand job. No.
No, give me 15. Okay. So was second time more successful?
Yes. So I got some, I think they were the what do you call them? Trojan ultra thin ones, and those were amazing.
Yeah.
And I also got Trojan ecstasies. Those are also very good.
Fair enough. Cease and desist.
So Matt, you had a story to tell?
Mine isn't that entertaining at all. It's not as fun. Okay, so I was working at this place. There was this girl there, and
How old were you?
I was 19.
How old was she?
I forget, actually. She definitely wasn't illegal, okay? So don't be thinking that.
Wow.
'Cause
That's some great phrasing.
No, I'm saying that you looked at me, you gave me a very accusing look, like, how old was she? And I was like, she was of age.
It's called a follow-up question.
Okay. I'm getting defensive.
You're getting very defensive.
Because, okay, there was a period of time where I was 18 dating a 16-year-old. Now, that was a very short time in my life.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I'm just going to say the word allegedly for anything I'm about to say for the rest of this podcast.
Also, just to state, that is legal in this state, so,
That's a... Thank you, Nate. Nate pays attention to those laws. Because guys like me and Nate need to pay attention to those laws.
You were working with her? Go on.
I was working with her, correct. We worked at a telemarketing place, okay? And I ended up getting her number. I don't know if I got it directly from her or from her friend, because it was like clicks at this job. It was a pretty big job. So it was like a whole floor full of everyone at cubicles. It was a telemarketing place. We all sold skin creams, diabetes products. We sold male enhancement too sometimes.
I remember when you worked there. Yep.
North Side, yeah. And that it was fun, and she worked there, and she had her own crew, her own people, And I acquired her number somehow, and then I, naturally started texting her. We hung out a couple times, went to a couple local rock shows. That's what you do with girls, you take them to local rock shows, They know they're important to you when you do that.
Girls
And
like rocks.
They like rocks, and they like shows, And mix the two, winning combo. I've started to become a certain type of person. I'm just going to follow this. Winning combo. This is going to end in me getting laid, guys.
That's all that matters.
So, we end up, I think there was this one night, it was like a local show. It was a cover band. It was a cover band doing all of, I think, the Beatles. Don't quote me on that. In fact, don't quote me on any of this. It was, in fact, you shouldn't be quoting this story. Why are you quoting this story in your personal life, you creepy listeners?
And he was at the Beatles.
I think it was a cover band for the Beatles. That's what it was. Like, you creep. Stop telling
It
others.
was the Beatles, but I think it was the Monkeys. He was embarrassed.
Like, tell your friends to just listen to the podcast. Don't be telling them about this.
That's going to be the only thing on your IMDb page.
Like, offhand. I think it was the Beatles. Like, this is the worst trivia.
That's the only trivia fact on your IMDb page.
I think it was the Beatles. No, so then we, after the show, we end up, we're in the car. And, she doesn't want to drop me off at home right away,
You have your cinder block with you.
Metaphorically, yeah, I had my cinder block with me. I had that thing in the trunk.
So you block off the door to her side of the car.
No, I let her say no if she wanted to. No, so...
Oh, I just meant so her parents couldn't get in.
Now, was she a virgin? Did you know that at the time?
I actually never asked. I assumed she wasn't because I assumed that if she was, so inclined to, like, go somewhere else to, like, another... Like, she was very, like... I feel like she was very, very much the one who was, like, leading the way on all of this. Like, I was still very nervous.
Did she know you were?
No, I did not tell her that because I feel like that's incredibly... That brings up another topic that I kind of like... I like that you asked that because I think it's really weird to tell someone that you're a virgin. I think that no matter if they are or if they're not, it's weird. It's weird once you go, hey, I'm a virgin. I think that's awkward because it's like they already... Like, I feel like they already look at you like, oh, shit, you don't know what you're doing. It's like if, like, we were about to play music and I'm like, I've never played the guitar before. Let's go up and play a show.
Wouldn't it become pretty obvious when you're up there playing a show and you are an idiot? Like, wouldn't it be better if they were like, hey, let me show you a few chords first? I'm loving this metaphor, by the way.
It's true, though, because it's very true that, like, yes, because
Let me show you how the fingering works, and we can take it from there.
Well, sometimes you have to strengthen your fingers, and because they're not, strong enough to play.
It's true that I should have told her, and it's like if, like, this band was like, oh, shit, we're short a guitarist, come up, play the guitar, and you just kind of go up, you grab a guitar, and you start playing, but you've never played... Sorry.
See, I'm thinking this is a duet. Now there's a band involved.
No, well, I'm saying that it wasn't an orgy. It was not an orgy.
This was a car orgy.
This was not a car orgy. So she drives to... Okay, so back in the story, though, she drives to this remote location. I don't tell her that I'm a virgin. I just kind of go along with the motions. Because in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, I think she's going to let me into the palace. Right? Like, isn't that what every guy thinks? Like...
The dank key of goodness.
Like, think about it. And I was not kind of Christian, so... I should have been because I went to private schools my whole life, but I had come to the conclusion that all of that shit was bullshit, and I wasn't even going to pretend to be like, oh, I got 1 foot in. I was like, agnostic. I don't know what I am, but I had no qualms about having sex. So we were driving out to this remote location, and I was like, it was like kind of obvious. She was like, oh, do you want to go, just chill somewhere?
You want to go park?
Yeah, essentially park, so she drove to this weird area, it was like kind of sketchy, but, it was just the car and like, the first couple minutes after you park, it's kind of awkward. You're just both sitting there and you're like, so yeah.
What'd you think of the Beatles cover band?
Very Beatlesy, but not quite, like essentially. And so she, she started, me and her, we start, kissing and, after that, things start to happen and, I think I held my own, you know. I didn't buy any weird numbing condoms, you know. I mean, it was very evident that I wasn't great at it yet, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if somebody had told her after the fact, you know, that guy just lost his virginity to you, she probably would have been like, yeah, okay, I could see that. You know, like, it was like she's not going to be like, well, he was fucking Axl Rose in the sack, you know? Like, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't like a fuck machine or anything.
But you also weren't Pee Wee Herman in the sack.
I feel like it was not like, I remember going away from that situation being like, that's most likely not the most embarrassing losing your virginity story.
You walked away like, that is the best possible outcome for this situation.
I was expecting to be terrible. I was.
Now, did she like it?
I mean, she didn't come. If she didn't orgasm.
Well, it's like 80% or like 60% of women don't come anyway, so it's
That's what a guy says when he can't make a girl come. He's like, well, girls aren't supposed to.
There's been like studies on it, and
no, it's true though.
Been
Like,
studies by guys and...
like, it's like a girl's gonna fake it when she does. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when she does. Like, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I feel like most women hate this podcast.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, did they just say women aren't supposed to come?
If we
It's
didn't,
just not something they do.
If we didn't turn them off on the last episode, this is the episode. That was the moment where it happened. Like, there are no girls listening anymore.
It's like if you had a Pokemon and like one of the moves is not coming. Like in their list of moves, that there is no, like, coming isn't part of their moves. Like, they can't. It's like, that's a different type of Pokemon. Like the man Pokemon, that's like its number one move. It's like its only move really is just come.
So it's a Metapod. Harden and string shot.
I don't know Pokemon enough to follow this analogy.
Just enough to make the analogy.
You guys can have the rest of this convo. I'll sit back. You talk about Pokemon coming.
So how long did you guys see each other afterwards?
That was pretty short-lived. I think we hung out a couple more times. We had sex again once, and that was much better. I was not a fuck machine, but I was on my way to becoming one. Origin stories. We're leaving that in, right?
I'm really glad that we just had that moment.
There was a high five involved too.
There was a high
There
five.
was a high five. Some people think that the mic just dropped. That was a high five, by the way. It wasn't just like on my way to becoming what.
Now, Nate, is a high five an instrument?
Well, it depends on the context. So there's like clapping, which is like high. You know, when you clap, you're giving a high five to yourself. So when many people do it at once, or if it's in solitarity, if it's in the right kind of way, it can be an instrument. Like a lot of rap songs have like a clap, you know.
Well, clapping can very much be an instrument.
But it depends on the context. So that high five right there, not an instrument because it's the context.
That was how do you describe that? It wasn't an instrument, it was a moment.
Yeah, it was more like a setting.
Steve started to light candles.
Well, I thought it fit with what we're going on here.
Steve, the big question on everybody's mind is, who did you...
That's the question. Who did I?
Who did you... I'm trying to find the proper words for this.
Okay, Steve, first time, go.
So, my first girlfriend was junior year of high school, and I met her through Pepin. Pepin had a church group, and I went to their church group once or twice for like the cool events, like a hockey game and stuff like that. And he had friends through that from other towns, and so I was talking to a friend of Pepin's, and then she had another friend, and I was talking to her on AIM back when that was a thing, and we just kind of like started hitting it off and whatever, and then I guess we were dating at one point, and we were dating for like 6 months, and like we'd do like sexy things on the phone, like moaning and stuff like that, like, you know, regular high school things.
Did you say hi first, or did you do the intros, or did you just pick up the phone like, She's like, I love those sexy things we do on the phone.
Yeah, I mean, it was like we slowly built into it type of thing.
It wasn't like immediately like a whale conversation.
No, and I mean, like, I shared a room with my brother at that time, so like I went out into the car and into my car and like, you know, and touched myself, stuff like that.
Where's Steve going? He's going to touch himself in the car.
Why is Steve in the car with blankets up on the windows?
Is Steve touching himself out in the car right now? Shh, leave him alone. He's not doing it up in the room with his brother.
So this girl, I know who you're talking about, of course, but how to describe her, like, as far as like religiously? So you met her from our church group, but she like super Christian-y, or was she like?
Her parents were, yeah, but she was fucked, man. Like, her and her friend used to like they'd had like huge dildos and would like fuck each other with them and stuff. And,
what?
And like on the phone with me on the phone, they'd do that. And like, it was crazy. And like me as like completely virgin, this is my first girlfriend. And like the only conversations we have are over the phone from like 100 miles away. And she's like fucking her friend with dildos over the phone with me.
Wait. 100 miles away. Wait, we didn't get any backstory on the situation. Wait, where is this girl? What?
She lived like an hour and a half away, which is roughly 100 miles, give or take, 60 miles an hour. It's 100 minutes. And then you gotta add back road time, things like that. So I'm just estimating, of course, but yeah, she lived about 100 miles away. So you can imagine, 100 sounds like a lot, but in driving time, it's not really. Long story short, one weekend I drive up there and well, we used to meet all the time at the state mall. Her parents would drop her off there. They didn't know I existed. And we'd like go do mall things. Like we'd go to the food court and the Panda Express,
things.
Sexy things, like
Sexy thing.
boyfriend girlfriend things. Go to the Panda Express, hit a Walden's bookstore.
Dude, I'm getting hot thinking about that. That is sexy stuff.
Books A Million, get a magazine subscription, mall thing. So anyway, we're doing mall things, and then one time we go up there, and I say we because this time I bring my little brother. And we end up we go to like a church thing. It's like an overnight thing at the church. And it's like a rockathon, they called it. And like the members of the church all got sponsors. And then they sat in rocking chairs and rocked for however many hours the sponsor was willing to pay for. And then all that money went to charity or the church or God or something. I don't know where that money went.
Whoa. So Rockathon was not referring to a kick-ass band. Rockathon, the moment you hear that, you just imagine a way different scenario. Was it just a stage with people on rocking chairs, just like...
Matt Drew, I was as let down as you.
You're like, hey, Steve, we're going to a Rockathon tonight. Get dressed.
My girlfriend's like, you guys want to come to a Rockathon? I'm like, can I bring my brother? That sounds awesome. What's it cost to get in? Oh, it doesn't cost anything. We got everything already sponsored.
Just prepare to rock.
She's like, just come to the Rockathon. It's an all-night thing. And then you can just sleep at my house afterwards, and it'll be cool. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. Come on, brother. Let's get up there. And then we drive up there, and it's motherfucking rocking chairs, and it was way better than I expected.
Oh, so do they let you sit on the lap? And
they had Disney movies playing. There was a rocking chair or two. There were actually like 10 rocking chairs. There was no stage at all. It was actually somebody's birthday too beforehand. So we had like a birthday party, and I felt like an asshole for not bringing anything. And like people are like, oh, you didn't bring a gift? And I'm like, nobody told me it was
who shows up to a Rockathon without a gift?
Right? So, and then there was a scavenger hunt. I don't even know. There was like an egg hidden in the bathroom. It was weird.
Wait. An egg hidden in a bathroom. Did somebody just forget to flush?
So anyway, the Rockathon happened, and then we go back to her house, me and my brother, and then her and her sister, and then her friend came, the one who she usually diddles with the dildo. And then me and my brother slept in the basement, and her dad was there. So, and he was like this huge, like wicked intimidating guy. And I'm like this 5'4" overweight little high school kid and junior in high school. This is my first girlfriend. And he's like, and she's like texting me like, come upstairs. And I'm like, yeah, not gonna happen. I'm not gonna get killed. Sorry. And then, so nothing happens that time. And then, so the next weekend, I'm supposed to go back to my dad's house. My parents were divorced. I was going back and forth, and I was like, no, I have this thing. So, I blew off going to my dad's house, and instead I drove up there, and we went out to something. I picked her up somewhere at like the mall or something, and she told her parents that her friend was going to drop her off, but it was going to be me. And then her sister was with us too. So what we did instead was the end of the night, it's like 8:30 at night. It's getting pretty late. I drop her sister off, and then she's like, no, drive down there. And I'm like, okay. So we drive down like 200 yards from her house on some back road, and we park there. And she's like, all right, you ready? And I'm like, sure. So we get in the back seat, and we start doing stuff. And then I'm like, I don't really know how this happens. And like, she's implied many times, like she is not a virgin at all, but she definitely knows I am. And she like tries to get on top, but this is like a small car. So like the roof is too low. So she like has to hunch way over, and she is a very overweight girl. So like she can't maneuver it so that like she's in a position where she can make any movements. So we're just like kind of sitting there with me inside her, and nothing's happening. And then I'm like, okay, so should I be on top? She's like, yeah.
Whoa. What a bitch. Can I just say? Like, she's like, acts like that's just, whoa, hey man, you should have already offered like 10 minutes ago.
So like 10 minutes later, I'm on top, and she's like, so there's the back seat is like really narrow, right? So like you imagine like a twin size bed, it's like a third of that. So it's like super narrow. So like she can't, because she's so big, she can't lay down like.
Dude, you're making this bitch sound like she was a whale, dude. Like, I bet she wasn't that bad.
Nathan?
Okay, Steve is hyperbolizing a bit, but she was pretty big, yes.
Okay, so in context to these tiny car seats.
But the car was very, very tiny, yes. That is certainly true.
So she was big enough that, and these car seats, I think the important thing is the car seats, not a car seat, but like the seats in the car were so narrow that it, like in combination with her size, it didn't work.
Really big girl, really small car. Okay.
Thank you. So she can't lay down like normal. So instead she's...
Okay, breathe.
This is a very geometry heavy podcast.
There's a lot of variables in this story. It's like big girl, small car. We gotta...
So...
Proportional church.
So she can't lay down like flat on the seats. So she has to be like in the corner, like half up against the door, half up against like the back of the car. So like, and like she's like trying to scoot a little bit so that there can be access at the same time. Like,
get that hole where I need it.
So like it ends up like being like, so both of our bodies, like the left half of mine and like the right half of hers, are like pressed up against the car door. And then like, so I finally like we're able to maneuver it so it's working. And then like there's like a gentle shift so that it's like at a little bit of an angle now. And like my head starts hitting up against the window of the car door. And just like every time I'm making a thrust, my head hits the car window. Like, boom, 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 boom. So the whole time I'm fucking her, my head is slamming against the car window, like, progressively harder and harder.
Concussing yourself. Like, with every thrust, you're concussing yourself more.
I am getting no enjoyment out of this, by the way.
This is what the big hype is about. This is what everyone's talking about sex.
So she's like, she like gives me this look like, is this seriously happening right now? And then...
I've seen that look before.
So it's like the biggest look of pity I've ever seen. And she puts her hand up so that my head is hitting against her hand instead of the window.
She cares about you, bro.
So like after like 5 minutes, I'm getting no enjoyment. She's clearly like distressed. She's like, why is this happening right now?
It would have been way better if you had a helmet. I'm just saying.
So I just stop, and she's like, did you finish? And I'm like, yeah, totally.
Yeah, we're done here. Yeah.
And then I pull out and immediately pull my pants on. Don't take the condom off. Nothing.
Oh my god.
Don't put my underwear back on. Just immediately pants back up.
You just get out of the car and just walk away. Open your pants.
Get back in the driver's seat. Like I'm like, drive her back. She's still in the back seat. She gets
speed up to her house and throw her out.
It's like a 1 minute drive, longest minute of my life. She gets out of the car, and then I like speed away. And as I'm driving down the road, I'm like taking my pants down, like ripping off the condom while I'm driving.
You got pulled over right at that moment, and the cop's like, "What is going on?"
I would explain the story, and he would feel so bad.
Oh my god! You're all set. You can go.
So I rip it off with a nice little snap and chuck the thing out the window, and it's sitting in the reeds somewhere up in that town now, still probably this day. And that was the least satisfying experience I ever had having sex. A week later, she calls me, the first time we've spoken since. She's like, yeah, we're done. I'm like, okay, makes sense.
That's pretty rough.
So last episode, you guys were sad in your stories. I think that this time...
Yeah, I think we evened out this time. I think that everything's all good. Everything's all even now.
So if you're listening to this and you've had sex before and you're like, man, the first time I had sex was like embarrassing. Like, no, it wasn't. This was embarrassing. And then if you haven't had sex and you're like, I'm concerned, like, what if the first time is bad and I'm bad? I got you beat.
Because your head isn't a bouncy ball. His was.
I got you beat.
Oh my god. So, to end the podcast, do you guys have any projects going on, Steve? Love the show? Follow us on Twitter at WNTT1. Also, if you really love it, go to iTunes and give us a rating. It really helps us be seen by everybody else. Feedback, both positive and negative, are appreciated. And of course, until next time,
I love to read comic books, and man, do I love playing board games. That's why I go to Comic Hunter. Comic Hunter has Atlantic Canada's largest selection of comic books, graphic novels, board games, and manga. Plus, they have toys, action figures, statues, and much, much more. ComicHunter.net has a blog and Magic the Gathering web store. Events every single night, Dungeons & Dragons, Magic the Gathering board games, Star Wars X-Wing, and much more. Ladies and gentlemen, they have mangas, buy 3, get 1 free, used graphic novels, buy 1, get 1, plus the dollar bin of comics, thousands of comic books, up to 50% off the more you buy. Check out ComicHunter.net. They have a knowledgeable staff, plus Matt Surrett's there too. Open Monday to Friday 10 to 10, Saturday 10 to 9, Sunday 12 to 6. Location is Moncton, 467 Main Street, Suite 300, and in Charlottetown, 181 Queen Street. That's right, Comic Hunter, where heroes come to play.
This has been a TPC Network podcast. For more shows like this, go to tpcnetwork.com/podcasts.